All right, guys, this next problem is definitely a challenge problem. So I'm going to write this one out and work through this one with you. If we take it step by step, I think that you guys will see that it's not as bad as it looks. So if we have 4x to the 10th times y to the negative third over 12x to the negative 2y. So the most complicated part of this problem right now is those negative exponents. But if we take it a step back, we're going to be able to pretty easily see how we can deal with these negative exponents. So remember that when we have a negative exponent, for example, if we had 2 to the negative 3, remember that this 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. When we're working with a negative exponent, all that we have to do to get that exponent positive is to take the reciprocal of the number that's being multiplied by that exponent. So, in this case, 2 to the negative third would be the same thing as 1/2, the reciprocal of 2, to the positive 3. So the same rules are going to apply over here for our longer problem. So when we're looking at this, we know that we need to take this y. Right now, this y is y over 1. But we want to flip it. So we now want to have 1 over y, which means that this y is now going to come down here to the denominator and bring this 3 that will now be a positive 3 with it. So in our next step here, if we start there and we bring that y down, because we flipped it and it's now 1 over y, which means it's in the denominator, our next step of the problem is going to look like 4x to the 10th. We got rid of this y on the top. We brought it down to the bottom. So now we've got a 12x to the negative 2, the y that was already here, and now we've also got a y to the third, because remember we took this y to the negative 3, we flipped it and we brought it down. Now we still have another negative exponent. We've got this negative 2. It works the same way. So because that is in the denominator and because it's negative, this is the same thing as saying 1 over x to the negative 2, because it's already on the bottom of the fraction. So if we want to flip that, now we're going to have x over 1 or just x squared. So x over 1 means that now that x is in the numerator. So we just flipped that x. So we can bring that x up. Now, remember that this 12 is not part of that x. You're just looking at that variable. So you can have, in the next step, 4x to the 10th plus the x squared, because when we flip it, we get rid of that negative. Now this is out of the denominator, and on the bottom we're looking at 12 times y to the third. Now, we're in a place right now where we can definitely start to combine like terms. So remember that if we have 4x to the 10th times x squared, we can combine those exponents to make this 4x to the 12th. And on the bottom, we've got a y and a y to the third. Remember, this y is the same thing as y to the 1. So we can also combine those exponents, and it'll be 12y to the 4th. Now, we can't do anything with this x and y in the numerator and denominator because they're different variables, but we can reduce this 4 and this 12. Just like we would if we had just 4 over 12, we can reduce that to 1 over 3. So we're left with x to the 12th over 3y to the 4th. And that'll be our correct answer.